We are actually live. Stop scrolling right now.
Uh-oh.
Stop scrolling. You know you see Papa Goat and Mr. Joe Derilus, so stop scrolling right now. I order you to do so, okay? But anyway, my brother Joe, good to have you on the show. That's the very first podcast we're having. And
Thank you for having me.
of course, man, listen, this is gonna be forever in the history book that you are my first guest. And before I actually
Wow.
introduce you fully, I wanna give a toast to everybody
Okay.
who's watching because I did say this is
Toast.
whiskey and wine Wednesday. I think that's what we said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Except I have wine. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not a whiskey guy.
Hey, I had said, ladies, get your wine ready,
Oh,
and
hey,
gentlemen, get your whiskey. But it's okay. I'm
look,
not judging you.
ladies, I'm with y'all. Okay, I'm with y'all. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all got support.
We're gonna have a lot of fun today. I'm very very excited. So welcome everybody. If you're watching this, make sure you are sharing it. And I'm gonna tell you why Joe is the very first guest I have on this podcast because I want
Okay.
everybody to understand this is going to be the number one podcast to turn to in Central Florida, and eventually we're gonna take over the whole United States. So you gotta dream big. But this is
All
the
right.
start of it, and I'm gonna look back to this. We're gonna look back to this. We're gonna say, man, right now our podcast is at 20 million views. Who was your first interview? And for the rest of history, it's gonna be this clip with Papa Goat and Mr. Joe. So if you can hear us, give us some love. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you why I have Joe here. Joe, not only Joe being a good friend of mine since a long time ago. I'm talking about middle school, high school, right, Joe?
Yep. Middle school.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, let me tell you, I saw Joe was moving and really putting his podcast together, and I said, "This is exactly what I wanted to do," and this is like I need help, and I called Joe right up. I said, "Joe, listen, man, look, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. Can you help me?" And let me tell you, he walked me every step of the way, and you have no idea how many people I have lined up right now to be part of the show. You guys should really really see that lineup, but it's gonna be a secret. But for now, Joe, please, my brother from another mother, tell the world who you are, a little bit about yourself before we actually continue and get into the nitty gritty. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
All right. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for that, and thank you for having me on your show. And really, I know you're trying to give me, maybe most of the credit or some of the credit, but honestly, it's really on you. Everything, I would tell you something today, and somehow you get Amazon same day shipping, you get everything right to your house real quick. So everything I told you, you went ahead and did it,
Yes.
and you even got your show on before mine even took off. So so, congrats to you, man. I know you definitely passionate about what you do, and you're passionate about helping people. So I'm looking forward to really seeing what this gonna become, and I really think it's gonna become huge because you have a message, and that's important for people to hear, and you're passionate about how you're communicating that. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
Man.
So
Mhm.
really, me, uh, hi guys, I'm Joe. So I'm Joe Derilus, and I am originally from Haiti, and I've been in the United States since 2002. And like you, James, just my parents, my family were just looking for a better life for me, and they found a way to get me here to the United States. Always shown potential and promise as a young kid. Skipped some classes, back in Haiti, and eventually my dad, was always hard on me with school, and really encouraging me to stay in school and all of that. Just like any other Caribbean or Haitian parent.
Yep.
and and basically, almost 20 years later, I'm now married with two kids. I've been in real estate for the past 5 years. Currently in school, pursuing a degree in ministry, and yeah, that's really me. And as far as entrepreneurship, I believe it's, besides Jesus, entrepreneurship is the answer. So That's me.
Thanks for sharing that. I like that Jesus part you put at the end. And I know you've been in ministry for a while, and you're a man of faith. And I just want to bring
Yes,
that to all my men's out there, my guys out there. There's nothing wrong about loving Jesus Christ. There's nothing wrong about being a man of faith.
absolutely not.
So Joe has been
Absolutely not.
consistently been an example, of that. Now, let's start getting into the nitty gritty. So you're going
Okay.
to, we're going to be talking about real estate, and then,
Okay.
very interestingly, we're gonna make a transition to really talk about entrepreneurship, marriage, life. I'm telling you, man, this show's gonna be amazing. So make sure you're sharing this with your friends. Subscribe to the channel because there is way more to come. But now, my first thing to you, Joe, is there is a book out there. You do have a book out there, and it's actually I post the book. It's that I think it's 27 mistake first time home buyers make, and you teaching people how to avoid that.
Right.
So, and by the way, if you guys want a copy of this book, make sure you put a comment below on YouTube or Facebook. We're gonna make sure we connect you with Joe. But if you were thinking about getting a home, it's a great book to start. I looked at the
Right.
book, I read it, it's beautiful. Now, I want to know what was the main reason you wrote. I mean, this book is out there from you,
Right.
and what was your intention of writing this book for the first time homeowners?
All right. So I got to be completely honest with you. I didn't write the book. I provided the book. It's really the main thing. The purpose of the book was two things. It's a marketing tool, and it's also a tool to educate buyers on really the buying process, because typically that there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information that buyers and potential buyers hear from, whether it's friends, family members, co-workers that aren't necessarily in the industry. So I want to have something out there that people can turn to at their own time, and be able to get that knowledge, get the information, so that way when they were ready. Because the thing is, real estate is, it's not like buying a shoe or buying a car. They have to be ready for it, but in order for them to get ready, they need to have the right information to get them there. And having that book was one of the best ways at the time. I thought I could relay the message.
Interesting, interesting. And thank you for answering that, by the way. Now, my next question to you, and let me tell you, if you're watching this, get your hand in this book, especially if you really thinking about owning a home. It tell you the pros and cons being a renter or a homeowner. So it's very, very informative.
Right.
I have the hard copy here. You see, like he's looking fly. Look at this, he's looking
Oh man, look at
fly.
that guy.
Who's this guy,
Man,
right? But it's
yeah, that
always
guy was
amazing.
50 pounds ago.
Listen, man, it's always amazing to see young people, man, especially African American, black folks really getting it out there, man. And I have a lot of respect for you, just because of who you are. Now, a lot of people out there is actually, I mean, you have been a realtor, and how long you been licensed for now, Joe?
It's gonna be 5 years, July 1st.
5 years, July 1st, and you're doing real estate full time, right?
Yes.
So, a lot of people out there, and I have people reach out to me as well, who's thinking about getting the real estate license and who's
Hmm.
thinking about getting into this industry. Now, I know there's going to be a very important question they can answer for themselves, but the question is, what is one thing you wish you knew when you first starting this industry?
Man. So the biggest thing I would say is I wish I knew that becoming a real estate agent was not necessarily me going into another job, but I was actually starting a business, right?
Mhm.
And I say that because it's, when that switch happened for me is when I started having more success in real estate, was knowing that this is a business. And when you talk about a business has um, expenses, and it also has revenue. But typically, when you're starting a business, you're gonna be spending or putting more money into the business before you can actually make more. And that's the biggest thing I would say. knowing that going into real estate, one of the first things you realize when you get your license, you have about 90 days to hang your license with a brokerage. And then hopefully, if you really looking to do this seriously, you would want to be with the MLS or a board. Well, that's going to cost you between 12 to 1,500 bucks, and that's before you even sell a house.
Hmm.
So right then and there, there's already an investment, some sort of an expense that you have to, put into the business in order for you to succeed. So I would say that's the biggest thing I could share with someone who's thinking about getting a license.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. And also, I also want to know for my fellow entrepreneurs, like now I know you, your wife, you guys been doing very good. Now, what would you say one of your biggest failure was, throughout the 5 years been doing real estate? Your biggest failure.
Biggest failure. Oh man,
It's like I'm
biggest
putting you in the
failure
hot
was.
seat, man.
I see. I didn't even expect that. Biggest failure I would say was not realizing the as much, I just, mentioned that, it's a business, but there's also a huge component of sort of interpersonal relationship and even relationship management skill that you need to have in this industry to to really succeed. You what I've realized that this it's more about managing people and relationships than it is about managing contracts and houses. It's not about square footage. It's really more about the relationships, and if you can master that, then the business is going to take care of itself.
Got you. Got you.
So I would
Okay.
say, yeah, the failure. I would say the biggest failure was early on, not realizing that I was just focused on the next deal. How do I get my next deal? My next deal, and not necessarily um, pouring into the relationships that I made or the relationships that I had to that would eventually turn into business.
That's pretty interesting. And for all of you out there who's actually thinking about running a business or getting into sales, he make a very very interesting point, because this is one thing I actually, when I first start insurance, as you guys know, I am an insurance broker, have my own business, have my own I run my own organization. But people don't understand. First, to me, you go through a sequence when you start, a business. You're going to get to it because you want a better life or you want to retire early, whatever is it may be. So the idea of you making the initial investment to yourself to become a business owner or become an agent or whatever it could be, it's for the money. It is for the money, or the potential of the
Absolutely.
money you can actually make. Now, along the way, you're gonna see the value, and like, man, it's really not about the money. I'm changing people's life here
Hmm.
with buying a home. I'm making the dream become a reality. Now it become about more. So
Right.
starting a business, to me, you hit it right on the nail. Is always put people first before
Right.
commission.
Right.
you know Always put
Right.
people first, because it's all about the relationship you create in the community, and that's how people are going to respect you, because everything bad you do always follow you. So I really appreciate your answer, Joe. Thank you very much. And now my next question is, because before things really get interesting, because I have a key question I'm gonna ask for you. Everybody's gonna flip when they hear that question. But now, um who has been the three people who's been most influential to you? Those three people on your career who've been most influential
In my career or like overall?
in your career in real estate.
In my career in real estate. Okay. One person, um, and she probably didn't even know it, would be there's a real local realtor named Janine Alsime. The other one would be Nathaniel Jean Jacques. It's another realtor. And then finally is Joshua Smith. He's a realtor out of Arizona. Uh, very, very successful realtor out of Arizona. So
That's what's
I
up.
would say those were the three agents early on that just helped inspire me, kind of push me towards a certain direction in how I was going to be as an agent and run my business.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now, once this video is done, we got to share this with these guys, because for the rest, the history of Joe's career, this is going
Absolutely.
to be recorded as those three people who's been very
Yeah,
influential today. And you know what? Now, as I'm thinking about it, these guys, I got to have an interview with them. Like, they probably
absolutely.
don't even know. So that's just to show you, man. Let me tell you, to
Hey,
me,
that's the strategy too. I like that.
to me, one of the key thing is when somebody's starting a business, and if you're listening to this, hear me out closely. I'm gonna say something that's very important. When you're starting out a business, it could be real estate, it could be Amazon, or it could be whatever. You're starting to sell shoes. I don't care. Whatever it is. The moment things get tough, the moment things get hard, and you let your friend talk to you out of pursuing your dreams, because that always happened. If I had a
Yeah,
dime for everybody that tell me not to get into insurance, I'll probably be a millionaire by now, you know. But anyway, it's the same thing a lot of people experience. Now, let me be very honest with you. When things get hard or things get discouraging, maybe your heart wasn't there fully. You just say it, but you didn't mean it. Let me tell you a couple things that happen. A few things happen. Your dreams, I hope you know, ladies, you're listening to me, gentlemen, you're listening to me. Your dreams, if you don't pursue them, you're actually doing somebody an injustice of their future.
absolutely.
Let me repeat. If you don't follow your dreams, there is a little girl out there, there's a little boy out there who was going to be great. And because you didn't follow your dream, they also going to experience some hardship in life. And let me tell you why I said that. Joe just mentioned that these three people inspired them. Can you imagine if they actually quit? Like, think about it. Think about it.
That's
Can
good.
you imagine if those three people actually quit? It's a whole different story. Thank you, by the way. I see a lot of love, a lot of likes, a lot of. I'm digging
Yeah,
this. Share this video. But Joe, I appreciate you coming to the show and being very open with us like
absolutely.
that. So I hope you guys taking great value on this. And our job is really we're just here entrepreneurs educating the community. And one thing, and there's a lot of things that's important to me, but one thing that's really important to me, African American, Black people, Haitian people, I want us to have a different face in the community because I don't want the whole status quo to be associated with who we are. Not all black men belong in jail. Not all black men, should
Our
be
gangsters. All that.
gangsters, or not all black men are that. Not all black women should be single women. Not all single mothers, because black men, we just gotta step up and do what we need to do. But anyway,
Right.
that's another thing. So now, Joe, with that transition, I want to ask you a very, very important question. Is now there is somewhere a young woman is actually watching this video right now. And this young woman probably thinking to herself, you know what? I want to marry somebody who's driven. I want to marry an entrepreneur. I want to marry somebody that's, independent. I'm looking for that type of guy that's going to, take care of me, push me, and whatever they
Right.
may be. Now, my question to you as an entrepreneur, you a married man, you've been married for a while. Now, my question to you, I want you to answer this question to the ladies. Now, an entrepreneur, what are some of the qualities an entrepreneur is looking for in a woman? Because these women, they can be thinking about what they want, but what do you think exactly a man who, as an entrepreneur who's married, I'm married myself as well, I have my own views, but what do you think these ladies who's asking to marry an entrepreneur, what are some of the things they should be expecting from a relationship, being married to an entrepreneur? I want to hear your input on
Man,
that.
and that's another tough question. um, well, first I would say, of course, every relationship is different. Every person is different. Um, and of course, getting married 9 years ago, I didn't know, really entrepreneurship was gonna be a realistic thing for me. Of course, I've always had ideas and aspirations, but it never really became a reality, really up until about 4 years ago, right? So I would say now, what I would say, and an entrepreneur would be looking for, and based on my experience and what I can say for my wife and what my wife provides for me as an entrepreneur is the balance, right? And typically, you you hear that word balance, and you're told as an entrepreneur you need to have balance in your life. And sometimes that sounds like you need to balance your life by organizing and scheduling things a certain way, kind of putting things around your life and balancing your life, in itself. But really, what I've found is that really that balance is the person that you're with. That's the person that kind of balances you, that helps you balance your life because of who they are themselves. So for me, the way my wife sort of balances me is she, I'm a big picture type of guy. She is more a fine detail type of person. Okay. I am a go, go, go. She is the person that kind of slows me down and say, let's take a break. I'm a person I'm very I'm super driven, but there's also a negative side to that is sometimes you're going so fast that it's just like driving down the road. You're going so fast you don't see the stop signs, you don't see the red lights, you don't see the old lady crossing the street, and you're just crashing and burn and running into everything, right? So really having that person that's that is supportive, that person that can balance you, that person that can say, hey, uh check this out, double check this, slow down a bit, you know take some time, take a break, drink some water, you know maybe take a sip of wine, right? So you need that person to help you balance, because if you are a driven entrepreneur, you don't really understand balance, because you're always going, and you need a person that is somewhat the opposite of that to help you with balancing your life.
Hmm. Ladies, I hope you're taking notes. Hope you're taking notes. There's a reason I asked this question. It's simply because of how I framed the question. There's a lot of ladies who's thinking about that, and even themselves, they want to be an entrepreneur as well. And I don't fall too far from what you said, Joe. It's simply because I am a married man as well. I am a big picture type of guy as well. That makes sense. And as entrepreneurs, you are what's called a visionary. You know,
Yeah.
and so many times in my career where I would just be focusing on what this could be. Let's just do this. Only if this can be this. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do that. And if my wife do not help me balance sometime, there's a lot of blind spot that I
Right.
can potentially,
Right.
get to. So a lot of time when
Yeah.
people give me a compliment, and if you guys watching this, who, and you experienced that before, you'll attest to that. Is a lot of time when people give me a compliment, automatically my wife has something to do with that. Like I don't take, especially with my dressing. Let me tell you one thing. When I dress myself, I cannot even get out. Like my friends would know. Like if I dress myself, you see me, I literally have a black shirt. Like right now, I dress myself. Like that's how I can. Listen. That's the best I got. I wore a black shirt, and I don't even want to get up right now because I don't want you to see. you know.
You
But
get your
anyway,
Zoom outfit on.
exactly. So just for you ladies, is very very important because if you were thinking about dating an entrepreneur, let me tell you, I could be a handful, and there is
Yeah.
a level of balance that men's would love into this relationship, where
Patience, understanding.
oh my God,
Yeah.
preach on, brother, preach on, brother. Yeah.
Perspective. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My wife is one of the most patient person that I know. And if somebody can deal with me, I know a lot of people say I have a good personality, I'm good with people. But when it comes to business, I get into a different level. And sometimes, like, sometimes I talk to her, I say, baby, I just want to say thank you. She said, what? You're dealing with this crazy guy, this guy who think he can take over the world, which I will take over the world. This
Mm.
guy who's always dreaming, this guy who's always this. You deal with me, and she find a way
Yeah.
to always, put things together. So I just want to say to you now, thank you for answering that I can relate to. Now, tell us a little bit. How does your kids play a role into it? I know you have two kids. Now, I want
Right.
people to understand the perspective of an entrepreneur You don't have a boss. You're literally doing everything on your own with your supportive spouse. If you're lucky to be blessed like me and Joe. Now, we talk about the kids. A lot of people will bring excuses of the kids. You know what? I'm not starting a business because I have kids. I'm always busy. I'm always this. Now, I'm going to share my part on that too, but I want to know, how do you balance the life of the kids, you being an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, and you a married man as well?
Um, yeah. So for that part, I would actually I'll go back to my wife. I My wife helps me be a better father, because she is a great mother, and it's one of the things I wrote for her during Mother's Day, and that couldn't be any further. That Yeah, that's the most straightforward I can be about it. As an entrepreneur, as a business person, your time is very your schedules is busy, and I can't always be there for my kids, but that's where my wife comes in, and she fills in that gap, and it doesn't seem and then it doesn't necessarily affect the kids, but I also know this is something that is temporary, and that they, and I also understand, communicate that with them, and they understand that, okay, if daddy's not here is because daddy is absolutely have to be somewhere else, you know so that's the best way I can answer that question.
Okay, I mean that is a very good way to answer it. And as a married man, ladies, there's a reason I'm asking these questions. There's a reason I'm asking this question because so many times I hear stories of relationship not working because the guy just happened to be too driven. Oh, sometimes vice versa in some rare cases. And there is a role a woman need to play as a man, a very significant other. When your spouse is very driven, it's not a regular guy. So
Yeah.
there is a way you have to come and play that part to help that man become better. I was actually
And
listening.
James, I don't mean to
Mhm.
cut you over. I would say it's also it's both ways. It's
Of
both
course.
ways. If you are in a relationship where, and guys, if your wife or your woman, your significant other is sort of that driven person, or is in that position where they're doing it all, or they're just out there getting it, well, then you have to come in as the partner and the support, and fill in the gaps, and
Hmm.
it's all about being a team, because at any moment, seasons can change, where now, the shoe's on the other foot. You're the one that's in that position, really getting out there, getting busy, have to go in and get it, and now it's going to be their turn to play that more of a supportive role, and filling in the gap. So it goes both ways.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying this. And listen, we actually 28 minutes on right now, and I want
Oh
this show to
wow,
be about 30 minutes. And look
that's
at it.
it.
That's it. Like if feel like I've been here for like maybe like, 2 minutes. But this live is actually going to end soon. But now what I want to say, the message I want to say to everybody's that's listening. Now, I've been a licensed professional since 2015, and that's about 6 years now. And as I'm building my agency, as I'm building my career and life insurance and in the financial service industry, I've met a lot of single men and a lot of single women. Now, this is going to all my single people out there. Now, you may think
Yes,
different.
ma'am.
That's just my opinion. I remember having this conversation so many times. It's like, man, of course you can be an entrepreneur. You have wife and kids that's actually motivating you and you're going to get it done. I don't like these conversations, believe it or not. Because as a single man and no kids, or single woman and no kids, you're giving yourself a way out not to be motivated enough to go follow your dreams. Because I could have used that same thing and vice versa. Man, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm so busy. I have kids. I'm married. I have to keep working. It's, it's how you see things in life. Okay. So
Yeah.
to all my single people out there, I just want to say, and also another thing as well, the single ladies, they're like in the early 20s, they can't wait to get married. And I'm not even gonna open that whole subject. Single men out there can't wait to get married. So I guess I'll ask you this question, then we can close, Joe. Somebody
Okay.
right out there right now who's really forcing themselves to find a man, who's really forcing themselves to find a woman so they can get married. As a married man, been married for 9 years, by the way, you beat me by 1 year. Oh man, you beat me by 1 year.
Hey,
As
even in middle school, my picture was always in front of you. So
ah, oh come on, Joe.
that's what it is.
So I guess the only thing I have to go back is like, okay, now my podcast is like before yours.
Is
So it's
before
like,
me. Yep, yep, you got me on that one.
man, come on, Joe. But yeah, as these young men, these young women trying to hurry up and get married, what would you say to these people based on your experience and being married, as just your opinion, by the way?
Mhm. My opinion on that is don't rush it. Um, take your time. Figure out yourself a little bit more. Um, be as ready as you can be, not necessarily as ready as you want to be, but as ready as you can be before you make that move. And and yeah, that's really it. That's the best thing I could say. Just take your time. Don't rush it. You know, plan for it. Have it in the back of your mind. Don't let it be your only focus. Um, but also don't rush it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe. And for all our listeners out there, I hope this information, I hope this conversation was at value to you. And for all my people out there who wants to be an entrepreneur, my African American, the minority, anybody really, to tell you the truth. But I'm very passionate about my people. I'm Haitian. If you can see my background here, 1804, that's my flag. I
That's
just
it.
want, not boule, not boule. I just want to, bring this closing is whatever God put in your heart as a man, as a woman, that is big, just do it. And a lot of the time when you're going through that journey, you want to know what your mom think, what your dad think, what your best friend thinks. God did not give him that vision. God give that vision to you.
Yep.
Okay. And sometimes the opinion can be discouraging. So here is what I would recommend. Anyone out there who want to be a realtor or whatever entrepreneur, find somebody that can mentor you on that field. Now, let me give you a great example. A mentor does not have to be the guy or the woman who knows everything, but at least they have a experience more than what you're looking to do. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Before we start this podcast, I said I needed a mentor, even though Joe just started it, but Joe had more experience than me and the software we're currently using right now. A lot of stuff. He had more experience than me, and guess what? I said, Joe, can you mentor me on what you know? And then today we have our first podcast. I have a very, very good friend of mine. He's extremely spiritual. He's a man of God. For the past, starting this year, there's a lot of things, my family experience, and that get me closer to God. And I look for a mentor in the spiritual realm. So this guy can mentor me. So before we go, here's what I would like to leave you with. I would like to leave you with this. Whatever you're going to do in life, find a mentor that's already been through it. Talk to him or her. And what you're going to find out is in life, those people who's very successful, they're more than happy to share what they've accomplished with you. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for being part of our first show. I want to say thank you to Joe for being our very, very first guest in our podcast. For the
Thank you
rest
for
of
having me,
history,
man.
my friend.
Congratulations on your first first episode, and congratulations on launching your podcast.
Thank you, my friend. I would not be able to do it without you. Now, for all you guys out there, I hope you have a blessed evening. God bless you and continue to stay motivated and follow your dreams. Bye bye,
And don't forget
everybody.
to tune in next week.
Tune in next week, right? Tune in next week. But any question you have for Joe, myself, you can put it in the comment below. And whatever information you need about real estate, Joe will definitely get on one with you. Once again, thank you, Joe, for being here. Thank you,
My
everybody, for
pleasure.
being part of the show. God bless you. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.